And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way. This week we're doing the Minnesota Timberwolves, a newer franchise in the NBA. Not as many Hall of Famers as some of the ones we've done here recently, like the Lakers. But we also have a guest this week. I think I mentioned it last week. Buddy is here.
Hola, senors.
I think we just discussed. I think this is Buddy's 6th episode, so Buddy's becoming quite the vet here. I think Buddy's in the lead now, isn't he? I think Buddy.
Yeah, I think
6th is the most. So he's past Schaller and Mark. So be interesting to see how this unfolds. If he can stay on top, but unfortunately Wade is not here. That was a last minute thing. He said hopefully he can walk in mid episode. So we'll see if we. But he did send me his list, so I do have Wade's list. So I think that's all the housekeeping I have. So let's get started. Drew, who is your Timberwolves all-time point guard?
Sam Cassell.
He's also mine.
He's also mine.
It's weird. He was only there for a little bit. I do not have Cassell as my point guard.
Ray, you did last week.
Not this week.
Wade has him as well.
All right.
So Drew, you want to tell us a little about old Sam Cassell?
Shoot, my phone didn't screw. All right. Well, he only spent 2 years in Minnesota, but he had 17 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, a steal, and nothing to do with blocks. But he was only there for 2 years, but for point guard in Minnesota, I couldn't really find him.
Well, the problem is with point guards in Minnesota is they all played a short amount of time there. Terrell Brandon's like a year and a half. Cassell's 2 years. Marbury's only 1 year. Like, it's all, like, a lot of them are just such short periods of time. You don't have, like, that long-term guy. Well, you have a couple longer-term guys, but they don't put up the numbers of some of the short-term guys. So it's, you kind of got to make a choice, I guess. Cassell was also pretty efficient, 48% from the field while he was in Minnesota and 35 from three, 87 from the free throw line. So
he was huge in that playoff run that they had.
He was, yeah.
I think he was really the catalyst for the team. A lot of people think of KG, but once he got injured, it kind of really put a damper on that run. So he was huge in that playoff run.
Yeah, he really outplayed Spreewell, too, during that time. So, yeah, I don't know. Did he make...
I think he made an all-star team.
Yes, he did. He made an all-star team in Minnesota. Yep. So... I don't know. He made an All-NBA in 03-04. Yep, and he also made an All-NBA in Minnesota. So he's got an All-Star team and an All-NBA in Minnesota.
I say because the 1 year in Minnesota, he almost averages 20 points a game and like 8 assists, I think. So the one of the years that's probably the All-NBA year. He's actually.
Yeah, he's at 19.8. So yeah, pretty much 20 points a game, 7 assists, a steal. 48%, 40%, and 87%. So he's almost 50-40-90 that year while going 20-7. 20-7, sorry. So, yep, that was old Sam Cassell. He obviously has 3 championships, none of which come in Minnesota. So, all right, well, that's 4 of the 6 of us. So, Buddy, who is your point guard?
I went with Ricky Rubio.
I kind of thought you would.
He didn't have the numbers for that stretch that Cassell did, but he still was pretty decent. 10 points, 8 assists over 7 seasons. He set the franchise record for steals in a season, and he put together a few triple-doubles throughout those few seasons also. I think injuries just really kind of put a damper on him. He signed a big contract extension and just immediately got injured, so... he had a pretty good run there until the injuries kind of took place. So I went with Rubio just mostly because I think he's really been there the longest out of all the point guards. He even came back a little bit later in his career too. So
yeah, he was there a couple seasons ago. He played 7 seasons, so quite a few more than Cassell. And I know you really liked the Love Rubio teams back in the day, so I thought we might hear Rubio's name tonight.
Yeah, they were a good combo.
The only problem I really have with Rubio is just his inefficiency. Like his time in Minnesota, he shot 37% from the field. 31 from three. You know that, and later on in his career, he's kind of fixed that.
Yeah.
But early in his career, he was so inefficient.
He wasn't really known for being an offensive threat anyway. He was like, if you ever watched him before he came out, you always just saw his passing highlights and his playmaking ability, and I think that's really what they drafted him for anyway. But yeah, you're right. Later in his career, he kind of developed a 3-point shot, and his efficiency has gone up since then. So a little too late for us, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, I noticed there's a 1 next to Rubio. So Ray, you still don't have your point guard up. Yep. So who's your point guard?
I said let's have fun with this list this week since Buddy's going to be here, and I'll just go ahead and go with Stephon Marbury.
Well, I can't say I'm too surprised to see Marbury's name on here. If you're looking at overall career, he's probably the best of the bunch.
Yeah, and like you just
numbers
said,
wise,
you said, he was there only for a year, but I mean, there wasn't really anybody overlying anybody else. They're all consistently in the same kind of stat range as each other. Like you just say, what Cassell was like 17 points and like 7 assists or something like that.
Yeah.
And Marbury's there, like right there, like 1 year. So I just, I guess I just picked the one.
He actually played more than 1 year. I was wrong. He played 2.5. It looks like.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think it was more of like a jealousy thing there.
Yeah, he got super pissed about the KG contract.
Because if you could just picture those two together for that big stretch with that 1-2 punch, it would have been real nasty. But
yeah,
he got real jealous of Garnett's contract. He felt like he should have been the one to get the contract and kind of pushed himself out.
Mm-hmm. Well, they traded him for Trell Brandon, who came in and played really well and then immediately got hurt.
Well, Brandon was one I considered also, but I mean, he had an all-star appearance and he put together a couple really good seasons, and then just injury, and you never saw him again. Well, whenever you did, he was a shell of himself. So
yeah, you're right, Ray. Marbury's numbers in Minnesota are 17 and 8 with a steal. The bigger difference here is he shot 41% from the field and 32 from three, 73 from the line. Similar numbers.
But I mean, he was, at least a stable player. He wasn't like sporadic like some of the other ones.
Steph's a interesting character.
Yeah. Good old Nick days. That was an interesting time for him.
Mm-hmm. And maybe I'm wrong, but didn't he give himself his nickname? Didn't Starberry come from him?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. You can't give yourself your own nickname.
Right?
They have to give it to you. You can't. That's not how nicknames work.
Right. All right. Well, I think that's all of our point guards now. So we have 3 point guards.
Well, real quick, part of that Marbury trade that they ended up getting Wally Zerbiak out of that trade. So maybe Marbury is probably the most valuable Timberwolf. We don't know.
I mean, Zerbiak had a nice career in Minnesota. I mean, and I don't remember how long he was there, but it seemed like it was forever.
Yeah.
7 seasons, I think it was.
Yeah. Well, I have not named anyone, so I'll go ahead and name my shooting guard. And my shooting guard is Wally Zerbiak.
It was a segue, Alex.
So, I
go ahead, spell it there. There you go.
I actually can spell Zerbiak now because of Sporkle.
It's actually funny.
Yeah.
I've memorized that name just from the trivia
Yeah.
that we used to do back in the day.
It might even in a ballpark.
No, you're good, though. We know what you mean.
We know who it is.
Zerbiak's numbers in Minnesota are 15 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, on 50% from the field, 40% from the three-point line, 85 from the free throw line. So he was almost 50, 40, 90 for his entire Minnesota career. Obviously, that's his main contribution is his shooting. So he was, and he was always an interesting guy. He had some decent scoring seasons there with mainly with KG. A couple 18-point per game seasons, but overall, had 15 points a game in Minnesota. I was actually kind of surprised that there weren't more decent wings in Minnesota's history.
very short-lived careers for the wings there.
Yeah. I think the length is why I end up mainly going with Zerbiak. He has the 7 seasons in Minnesota, and his numbers are fairly comparable to some of these guys. I'm sure I know the names of some other guys that are going to come up. One of them is probably currently a Timberwolf. I thought I should give Wally a shout out. He also made an All-Star game, by the way, in Minnesota.
So, Zerbiak. Anybody else have Zerbiak?
No.
This one was tough for me because I was split on Zerbiak and Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards hasn't been there very long, but the time he has been there has just been holy crap. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's the real deal. So I actually kind of leaned on the other side and went Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, as did I.
That's who I picked, yeah. That's who Wade has as well. I also looked at Spreewell.
Right.
But I was actually surprised at his numbers. They weren't that impressive.
I was going to say, he was better with the Knicks before.
And the Warriors, yeah.
Yeah, before he choked the coach, right?
Yeah, before he choked PJ Carlissimo, yeah. He made an All-NBA team in Oakland.
You know?
That's right.
Yeah.
Get it out there.
Anthony Edwards in his 3 seasons, I think I got it at 21 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, around that. And I think he's already second all-time on the 3-point field goal list for the Timberwolves, which we all know the game's changed a little bit, and that's about where it's all at for everybody, it seems like, is a 3-point shot. So, I went with Edwards.
Yeah, he's pretty dynamic to watch. Pretty exciting, and I like him.
Oh, yeah.
I say he'll dunk on anybody. He don't care.
The way he can score is just so much more dynamic than what you got from Wally. I don't know if you ever seen Wally play or anything like that, but he was going to spot up and shoot, and, he could maybe attack the hole a little bit, but not like that. So Anthony Edwards is just vicious with it.
Well, no, we still are missing one, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have Rays yet, so I won't talk anymore until we have Rays.
What you got, Ray?
Well, I had to give my guy a shout out, Mr. Isaiah Ryder.
Oh, I thought we were going to get an Andrew Wiggins sighting here for a second.
Oh, hell no.
I think he averaged 20-some points a game in Minnesota.
Yeah, right at 20.
Yeah, I say Wiggins had.
Yeah, because I looked at him.
Nope, I always liked Isaiah Ryder. He was pretty consistent when he was up there, but I mean, he never got real famous or like big superstar. But
I mean, he's infamous. I give him that.
Yeah. But I mean, he never got to that top tier kind of level. More that mid grade superstar.
Did Ryder get a ring with the Lakers? Did he make it through the whole season?
Yeah,
I was thinking he did.
Mm-hmm.
But he's at 18-8, 3, almost 4 rebounds, 2.9 assists, and not a steal or a block. But
Nothing.
No,
there's a couple of funny stories about Isaiah Ryder and Kevin Garnett that just cracked me up. Like Kevin Garnett in his rookie season talking trash to MJ, and Isaiah's like, "Dude, don't do that. Stop talking. Please shut up." And MJ came back and just decimated him. So
yeah, but Isaiah was the one having to guard MJ on the other end of the floor.
He got to guard him. He's like, "Please just shut up, man." No, I liked Isaiah Ryder, but I think you're just trying to ruffle my feathers, and it's not going to work.
Oh, it ain't over yet.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, I will say this: I put Zerbiak on my team because of the next 3 positions. I was like, I can't have a guy that attacks the rim unmercifully like Edwards, because I'm gonna put the 3 guys on the floor.
I think the next 3 are going to be the same for everybody.
No, they're not.
Nope.
No, they're not.
I got racing in the room, but they can all spread the floor. So
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, now we have our shooting guard, 3 of them as well.
Yeah.
So
here a while.
now we can move to small forward. Drew, who's your small forward?
Kevin Love.
Oh, he's my power forward.
Oh, okay. Kevin Love's also my small forward.
I actually have Kevin Love at my power forward, and I put Garnett at small forward just because his rookie and second year he started at small forward. So
And the reason I didn't put Kevin Love at small forward, even though he's the shortest, is because he can't move his feet. So I was like,
he's just
he needs to go down in the paint more.
Is this the first situation where you have a jumble of big guys at the all-time team?
I don't think so. Okay. We end up putting. Did we put Larry Johnson at small forward?
Yeah,
because we needed a position for him.
Sorry, I cut you off.
Oh
yeah.
Where'd Wade have?
Wade has Love at power forward as well.
Okay, so 3 and 2.
Well, see, I have Garnett at power forward.
Yes, I have Garnett at power forward. I have both. Ray doesn't have Kevin Love.
I don't have
so we have 3 Garnetts at small forward.
Oh yeah. Said 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you do.
No, I've got Garnett at center.
Oh. And then you 2 have Garnett at power forward.
Yes.
Garnett's 2 at power forward. So Garnett's on the team. He's unanimous.
I mean,
he should be. He's their only Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got to be on the team.
Okay, let's hear the bombshell, Ray. What you got?
Well, we want to go over Love real fast before you say.
Oh yeah, we should probably talk about Kevin Love.
Kevin Love was a double machine in Minnesota.
He was almost a 20-20 machine for a while.
Yeah. For his career there, he was 19 and 12, and then 2.5 assists, 0.7 steal, and half a block. So I mean, let's see. I don't remember how he didn't really start. Yeah, he only shot at 1% better, I guess, in Cleveland from 3, 37, 36. And then he was a bit more efficient at Minnesota. He's 45% from the field compared to 42. But, I mean, I remember those years in Minnesota, he was just eating it up.
Well, he was more efficient in Minnesota than in Cleveland because in Cleveland, the only thing he was allowed to do was stand in the corner and shoot threes.
Right, yeah. Like LeBron did to Bosh.
Yeah, he ruined Bosh and Love. Like, reputation for being a power forward.
Like everyone looks at like Jokic, like, man, that dude is so unathletic. You look at Kevin Love, you're like, that guy's a professional basketball. Back in the Timberwolves day, where he was chubby, you're like, that guy's not a basketball player, but somehow he always got it done. He's just out rebounding these 7-foot guys. Like, how is this guy doing this? He always found the ball. Or the ball always found him, one or the other.
I mean, he had a season where he averaged 20 and 15.
You don't hear
we don't see that anymore.
No,
you might see 5 and 15.
Yeah.
You know, but not 20. I shared something with you a while back about his game where he scored 30 points and had 30 rebounds. Yeah. I rewatched the game and I'm like, I'm just gonna see, like, how did he get this done? At the end of the first quarter, he had no points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. At the end of the first quarter. Wow. He didn't score his first basket until there was 8 minutes left in the second quarter. And he only had 3 rebounds at that point. And so you're thinking about 2.5 quarters of 30 points, 30 rebounds in like 2.5 quarters.
Wow.
At halftime, he had 6 points and 9 boards. But at the end of the third quarter, he had 17 and 24. So his third quarter was just absolutely.
He's the only one that rebounded the basketball in the third quarter.
Apparently,
somebody was missing a lot of something.
So, and it wasn't one of those oop miss. He's getting them over and over. Like the ball was just, he was there. It was just crazy to watch. So even if you fast forward to that third quarter of that game and just watch the third quarter, it is just mind-boggling. He started with 6 points and 9 rebounds and finished with 17 and 24 just in the third quarter. He was just super fun to watch, and you would never think it just looking at him from that time period. He just did not look like a basketball player, but yeah, I definitely have him down also at my power forward, though.
Yeah.
All right, Ray.
So hold on. So we're missing 1 small forward, 1 power forward, and none of the rest of us have set our center.
Yeah,
it's just Ray. So, yeah. So, who's your small forward, Ray?
Tony Campbell.
Okay.
I hate you. Tell us a little bit about Tony Campbell, Ray.
He's old. He scored. 20.6 points a game with 4.6 rebounds, 2.8 assists, and 1.3 steals.
20.6 points per game or minutes a game?
Points.
Nice.
Yeah,
Did he play 2 games? Did he play 3 games?
237 actually.
Yeah, that's crazy. Tony Campbell, MVP. Nice job, Ray. You're starting to ruffle my feathers.
Just wait till we get the power forward.
Oh boy.
At least Garnett's on the team.
Yeah,
like I give you that
one.
because
I'll at least
like,
give you the obvious.
because I'm like, you can't leave Garnett off to put Campbell and Isaiah Ryder on.
Well, I knew Ray wasn't going to put Kevin Love in that first episode we did way back.
Yeah,
Kevin Love.
Yeah, I know he can't stand Kevin Love, but yeah, well, yeah. Is there anything else you want to add on?
It's not even a picture.
Yeah, we have a picture of him on Basketball Reference.
It's just blank.
It's just a silhouette.
No, there's no silhouette either. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's just
It's
nothing.
nothing, huh?
Nobody finished to create a player mode.
Exactly what happened.
Who won the title in '88?
Lakers?
88.
Probably Lakers because then the Pistons, won 89 and 90?
89 and 90.
And then the Bulls would have won 91, 92, 93.
Yeah, so it would have been the Lakers.
Lakers.
So he was on the Lakers.
He did play with the Lakers for a
Yeah. 87, 88, he played for the Lakers, and he won a championship.
Yep, Lakers, Pistons.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Anything else to add on Top Cat?
No, he's just a good player.
Stud. Yeah.
Well, you're up again, right? Let's hear your power forward.
Yeah, let's hear your power forward.
Al Jefferson.
I liked Al.
I like
Jefferson.
Big Al. Yeah.
Right?
I actually like Big Al. So
Let me ask you this though, Ray.
Yeah.
Why did you switch Jefferson and Garnett positions?
Oh, I don't know.
I say Jefferson is a center and Garnett is a power forward, but then you flip-flopped them.
Yeah. We probably went over this 1,000 times. It doesn't matter where we put them. We can just screw up the lineup later.
I don't care. I'm just saying, you moved them, but you didn't need to because they both are on the team. They both play different positions.
Yeah, I was like, whatever. We'll
mean,
figure this out.
his 3 years he was there, he was really good.
He was,
Yeah,
yeah.
he
He
really
was
was.
like a 2010 guy
Yeah.
for those 3 years. So
1.4 blocks. I mean, he was a grit and grind guy.
50% from the field. He doesn't shoot threes, and 71% from the free throw line. I mean, he was a guy that, for a lot of years there, you could give him the ball in the post, and he would get you
I was
buckets
gonna say you could feel
against
comfortable
anybody.
giving
Like
him
it,
the ball.
it didn't matter who was guarding him. He could score. He wasn't real quick. He wasn't real fast. He wasn't going to move his feet real well, but he could maneuver in the post and get buckets.
A lot of people. He's a forgotten player, really.
He is.
He's had a really solid career. You just like him because he went to Indy. That's all.
Yeah, whatever. With that 1.5 years.
Well, I
over
mean,
there.
a lot of people forget he was the centerpiece of the Garnett trade. Like that was what the Timberwolves, the big thing they got back from the Celtics for Garnett was Al Jefferson, who was coming off a season of 16 and 11 in Boston, playing with Pierce, and then
I was gonna say his best stretch of his career was probably in Minnesota.
probably he had a nice season in Charlotte later in his career. But yes, he was. I would say as far as like putting years together, it was probably Minnesota. Yeah,
Utah doesn't look too terrible.
Utah. I think there was too many of them at that time. He had a nice stretch in Utah, but it was him, it was Boozer, it was Favors, it was Okur. Like they were all there at the same time, so there was constant rotation of post players.
It's kind of like the Pistons whenever they had all those big guys. None of them could shoot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this is another guy that the NBA just kind of went away from. They probably ended his career prematurely because the game changed and they were like, "Oh, Big Al can't play no more."
Yeah, you can't shoot, you can't play.
Yeah, you can't shoot and you can't move your feet. So kind of like we talked about Roy Hibbert that way in the Pacers episode, where the NBA just went away from him.
Mm-hmm. God, he was fun to watch.
All right, well, I'm not as dumbfounded as I thought I might be. I like Big Al, although Big Al is not one of his nicknames on there, but that's all. Nobody called him Al Jefferson. Everybody just called him Big Al.
That's
So I thought that was his only nickname. But they have Big Classic on here as his
the
nickname.
Big Classic. Oh yeah.
He is now.
It sounds like a Wendy's burger or something.
Yeah.
It does sound like a burger at a restaurant.
Yeah.
I get 2 big classics and a medium fry, please.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, that is all of our power forwards now. So Ray has his center in Garnett. None of the rest of us have named a center. Wade and I have the same center. Should I assume the rest of you do too?
Go ahead.
Towns.
Yes.
Yeah, that's who I have too.
Yep.
Well, we have 3 at every position but center, where we have 2. So
Towns has been a staple for almost a decade now there. I mean, even his rookie season, he was a good impact player. But, I mean, what do you guys got down for him? I got 23 and 11 throughout his career.
Yep.
It's just one of those things where it's like, can you stay healthy, please?
well, I think Towns at this point, I would say, probably has earned his reputation as a big stats, bad team guy. And he just has zero interest in playing defense, which is weird because in Kentucky, he was up for like defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
He was averaged like 5 block shots a game.
Yeah.
And then he gets to the NBA and is like, I just want to shoot threes, guys. I don't care about
He's like,
defense.
we're losing. I got to look good.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
he's changing the game, isn't he?
Oh,
He sounded so stupid the other day. Like some his PR guy should have stopped the interview.
Yeah, I told you guys about that. He said,
Yeah.
when I retire, they're going to say that I changed the game. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, you and Steph Curry, buddy. You and Steph Curry. Yeah.
No, he does sound goofy whenever he talks about I'm the best shooting big ever and stuff. Like, just stop. Let's get to the playoffs, guy. You know?
Yeah, just make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's all.
He also said in that same interview, though, that it was last year when they won the play-in game, it was more impressive than Denver winning the championship this year.
Yeah, when Patrick Beverly and them won, it
Yeah.
was more impressive than the Nuggets winning.
Oh my God.
Well, I think it broke a 30-year drought, probably not that long, but
Yeah,
like it was like a 20-year drought that they were going through of just making the playoffs. But no, that's not more impressive.
No, but Denver's never won a championship, so I was like, that broke a drought too. Like, I don't know. I'm not picking on your team, buddy, but Karl Anthony Towns sounded really stupid in that interview.
I admit he sounds stupid a lot whenever he talks. He is still our best center we've ever had.
Yeah, well, I think 23-11, 52% from the field, 39% from 3, and 83% from the free throw line. So he is efficient offensively. I'll give him that.
He does have the most threes ever in Timberwolves history, which is kind of crazy to see a center kind of hold that.
Well, I mean, over this is his 3-pointers per game over the last 4 years: 8, 6, 5, and 5. So I mean, he puts them up.
He's not scared to shoot.
Mm-mm.
That's for
And
sure.
it's not going to change with Gobert there because they need him to spread the floor with Gobert standing there.
Please
Yeah.
don't start with Gobert.
They already know how I feel about Mr. Rudy Gobert.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's your all-time favorite player, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Greatest defensive center of all time.
no. Sorry, buddy, but he made your team worse. I
You
can't.
don't have to apologize. We've been doing the Timberwolves have been doing this for decades, kid. You know.
When I saw him do that, I was like, you got to be serious. You can't be serious. Like,
Here we go again. Yeah.
Well, you know, they went out and got Edwards and thinking, hey, maybe they're gonna.
Yeah.
Then they went and got Gobert.
But hey, you brought in Gobert. All you did was, trade away your first-round draft pick for like the next 5 years. So
We're good.
well,
We don't need him.
well, what was it I saw? I saw it was Towns, Gobert, then the other center you just re-signed. You're paying,
not
paying their
Muhammad,
centers,
or not Muhammad.
I can't think of the
Nasreed.
total.
As Reed.
I can't
Yeah.
think about the total amount of money, but it's an insane amount of money they're paying the 3 of them.
Yeah,
You okay? So if you're Towns, do you stay once your contract's up? Where you go?
I mean, you can probably go, but he's got a couple years left, doesn't he?
Still, I mean, he's still got a lot of playing time left. Whenever he's all said and done.
No, I mean he does,
Contract.
but what I'm saying is like it's not like it's like coming up.
I know. I mean, but
It's not like a next year decision.
right. But what I'm saying is like, what is your motivation to stay after this contract? And I guess they have, they can keep you because of your rookie contract and stuff like that. They can extend it, but no superstar is going to want to stay in this organization for any amount of time longer than they have to.
No.
I mean, yes, he still had. I think he's an unrestricted free agent in 2024.
Oh.
So
So this year and next year, and then he's a free agent.
mhm. So why would you stay? What's your motivation to stay there?
No, you wouldn't.
They're going to have to make some changes or do something to try to keep him. And Edwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Edwards will be there just simply for the fact of he's on his rookie deal, and then everybody signs their first deal with that team because you
get
pretty
the
much
most
have
money
to
that
with the
way.
way the rules
Yeah.
set up.
You get the most money that way.
Yeah.
I can't see them keeping a superstar past that second contract for any length of time. If they keep running things the way they do, you know what I mean? Like they've just.
Well, you got new ownership now. I mean, maybe that things will change. I don't know.
I'm just trying to think of who's the GM for the Jazz now. Danny Ainge.
Oh, he's the president, I think.
Yeah,
But yeah.
What is he doing to all these people to get like 50 draft picks and convincing them? Like he is the master of negotiation, man. Like he's bamboozled a lot of
Not
teams.
only that, but he
way.
just gave up a second rounder for John Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand. Like I don't understand what some of these GMs do. Like it's like they go into a room with Danny Ainge and like he's got some sort of blackmail on him and comes
That's
out.
what I'm saying.
Like it really is, and he's been doing it for years. It's not just like the last year or two.
All right, guys, this is what we're gonna do. I know he can't score very much. He plays defense if he's around 5. Give me 7 first-round draft picks, and you can have him.
Yeah.
Actually, also give me all of your role players too,
all of them.
and then you can. Okay, sounds great. You know, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know what he does, but he's done a hell of a job. He's really already turning around Utah after they lost their 2 best players in Gobert. Like he traded Gobert and Mitchell,
They were better.
and they looked really good. I mean, they weren't like contenders or anything stupid,
Right.
but I mean, like they looked formidable. And now, like he just brought in some draft picks. He just traded for Collins. Like they're already on the way up.
It's crazy. It blows my mind.
Yep. All right, we need to get down to this, gentlemen. We got to start deleting some players.
Yeah.
Well, after hearing everybody's arguments, is there anybody that just wants to get rid of anybody?
Ray?
I guess I could go. I'll go ahead and hit the Cassell train up.
Okay, so no more Marbury.
Yeah.
Okay, so Marbury's gone. He got some mention. That's good for him.
Yeah.
Are you willing to not get rid of him, but move Garnett to one of the other 2 positions?
Yeah, that's fine with me. We could put him power forward.
Since Ray put him at power forward, I'll switch my Love, and I'm not that set on Kevin Love being my small forward. I'll switch it.
So you want Love here?
Yeah, and then just move Garnett to small forward.
Oh, okay.
I'm not. It's not that big a deal.
So
Either way.
You can lock them in, I guess.
Whichever way we decide, I'm fine with Love and Garnett.
What now?
just take Love off a small forward.
Okay.
Uncle Doug said he would do it too.
Yeah, just move him to power. Then switch my power forward, Garnett, to small forward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so take 2 Garnett votes off of power forward.
Yeah, there we go.
Just like that?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Roger.
Then are you moving your Jefferson to center?
His
yeah.
Garnett moved over from center.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so you got to have.
Well, just by moving players around, we cleaned up some of this.
Yeah.
We still have 2 centers, but now we only have 2 power forwards and 2 small forwards. So we cleaned that up a little bit.
So I think the big holdup is I'd be willing to move off of Rubio and go with Sam Cassell just because that stretch that he had was very productive and it led to probably their best playoff run that they've ever had as well. So
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so Sam Cassell is our point guard.
Woo. Good deal.
All right, he's on one team. What else can I do here? You know, I guess I will concede on Ryder.
I'll concede on Zerbiak.
Well, I guess we'll go to Edwards then.
Go to Serbia.
Oh, is that what you were gonna do? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm
I'm sorry, Ray.
Too late. Alex is
Sorry.
already.
Oh, too late.
You said it. And he said, "Well, I guess I'll go to Ed."
My bad, Ray.
That's all good.
We could have put up a big argument. That's my bad.
Yeah.
So we have our starting backcourt now with Sam Cassell and Anthony Edwards. Because Buddy had a good point. 2 of our 3 big men can shoot from 3, so it does spread the floor.
Well, where are we at? Garnett, Love, and Towns?
It's you, right?
Yeah, that's the way we can go.
So you're conceding Campbell
Yeah.
and Jefferson?
Yeah.
All right, so we do have our 5. So our Timberwolves all-time starting 5, which didn't really take much argument,
Yeah.
was
They only have 5 players that stand out.
Yeah.
Sam Cassell, Anthony Edwards, Kevin Garnett, Kevin Love, and Karl Anthony Towns. So we have, well, I mean, we have 3 guys that average a lot of rebounds, so this team ought to be really tough on the boards. We have a world-class defender in Garnett.
And he'll whip Towns into shape. He'll make him play some defense.
If not, he'll beat him up. I think.
Yeah, Kevin Garnett beat him up.
Although we saw what happened when somebody tried to whip Towns into shape. He cried like a little bitch and went home.
Well,
Because Butler tried that a few years ago.
If that's the case, we'll bring Big Al in.
That's right. That's right.
Big Al, 6 man.
Yeah.
Big classic.
A big classic. And then we got Sam Cassell, who is like the veteran point guard guy. Get him into sets,
too.
guide him. He's a good defender. Yeah. Providing some outside shooting. And then Anthony Edwards, another guy that can handle the ball a little bit, explosive athlete. So he also shoots a little bit. So, and then Love and Towns are both good shooters for big men. So a little bit of everything there.
Yeah.
So be interesting. I don't see them going far in the tournament, but they might be able to sneak out a first round victory depending on the matchups.
If you know Minnesota, we will not.
You never know who they'll get matched up with. It's a decent team.
It is.
It's not as bad as Charlotte, buddy.
True. They're not as bad as Charlotte. Who else do we have that was bad? I think this team would beat Memphis.
Yes, they beat Memphis.
How many more teams do you have to do?
Ooh.
We have New Orleans, New York, Oklahoma City, Orlando, Philly, Phoenix, Portland, Sacramento, San Antonio, Toronto, Utah, and Washington. So 12 more teams. So I would say this is the 3rd worst team that I can, as of right now.
Hey, you know what? I'll take that. That's good. Good. I'll be curious about your tournament. I'll be very curious about that.
Well, we've talked about inviting you to it, buddy. It's going to be an episode. We want to bring back. We want to bring back multiple guests. So
It might.
Cool. Yep.
Might have to be multiple nights unless we
Maybe
discuss
a couple
quick.
yeah,
episodes.
it depends. Yeah,
I'm gonna talk
So-
forever.
or maybe we can do it all in one night, but just split it into multiple episodes.
Yeah.
Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4.
How long was our NFL draft episode a couple years ago?
3 hours.
It was 3.
Yeah.
Both of them were. We were there for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fine.
We went.
We started
Wait.
thinking it was going to be 1 episode and ended up being like 2 3-hour episodes.
Yeah.
Wade never showed up.
Yeah. All right. Well, now that we've got our starting 5, let's do some NBA talk. There's some topics that have come up here recently, actually kind of right after we recorded last week. A couple more trades in the NBA that we can go over. First off, we mentioned one earlier. John Collins was traded from the Hawks to Utah for Rudy Gay's expiring contract and a second-round pick. I don't know what everybody else thinks, but I think that was a really solid pickup for Utah.
That's a steal.
Yeah. The Hawks just wanted to make cap space.
Well, the new CBA is causing a lot of teams problems because they're hammering them with penalties if they're over the second luxury tax. And there was a bunch of teams that were already over it and weren't that worried about it, and now are like, whoa, what are we going to do?
So what other teams do you think are going to crumble to that? You know, because you had teams in the past like the Warriors that just say, I don't care what penalties it is. We're just going to pay them, and we're going to keep winning. You know,
it appears like the Warriors are trying to get rid of salary. I mean, they got rid of Poole, who they just signed last year, which wasn't a huge surprise, but it cut salary.
They pretty much had to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was him or Draymond.
Draymond one had to go.
Yeah. And so, but then you have Phoenix going the other way. Phoenix has 3 of the 7 biggest contracts in basketball on the same team.
Yeah,
and they're the only guys that are signed right now too. So
yeah, they now have 6 players under contract.
Okay,
good. The 3 of them, Ayton. They just picked up Wainwright's player option, which is like $1.6 million.
We really want you, man. You know, you're all we can afford, man.
And I think the other one is Campaign, maybe. But yeah, they have 6 players under contract, so they're way over the thresholds and have to sign 9 more guys.
They have
and
to
half those guys have got to have the ball in their hand.
Yeah,
yeah.
They have to move on from Ayton, right? You'd have to. That would be that's the odd man out.
But
right?
Shams is saying they're not doing it. He's saying that the reason they hired Frank Vogel is to resurrect Ayton's career because he's the defense and big man guy. So they brought him in to do that. But my thought process was I kind of like Ayton. I think I said a couple weeks ago. I think Ayton's kind of gotten a bad rap. Not that he's the perfect player, like not made mistakes, but like everything that goes wrong in that Phoenix team seems to be blamed on him. But I think when you have Ayton, who is playing with 3 guys, like we said, that want the ball and are going to shoot all the time, but Ayton's making $32 million a year, I think you trade him for 3 guys that make like $10 million a year.
You think he could be a centerpiece on a team somewhere?
Centerpiece as far as like a number 1? No. I think he could be a third option on a contender. I don't see any reason he couldn't be.
I think his offensive game is awesome.
His offensive game is nice. He's a good shot blocker. Mm-hmm. And when he can't, like,
he just might not be able to show it right now, like you said, Mm-hmm. But the years whenever they signed him to that contract, he was they didn't have.
I think he averaged like 18 and 11 this year. It's not like he's a bum.
Yeah, I mean,
no. I like Ayton, but like you said, Alex, he gets blamed.
Yeah, he does.
For everything that goes wrong.
This year all I heard for 2 weeks was Ayton's a bum. He can't stop Jokic. I'm like, who the fuck can?
No.
Right, yeah.
Who did? You think about that last playoff run the Bucks had where Giannis had those crazy tip dunks on him and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who. You're not stopping that. You know
no.
what I mean? He just kind of got caught in the middle of
like you're talking about all year long. All we've talked about is who's the best player in basketball, Giannis or Jokic. Giannis and Jokic. That's the argument right now. But this is the 2 guys that Ayton is catching shit for not shutting down.
Yeah,
come on, guys. But anyway, I got off topic there. But I think the John Collins, Walker Kessler, and what's the big shooting
Larry Markkinen?
And Larry Markkinen. That 3-man big rotation could be really nice for Utah.
And, I mean, they got Olenek off the bench, too, who kind of came alive over the last couple, like,
he did. He's a solid rotation guy. Yeah.
Start to his career, then kind of disappeared, and now he's back. And then Colin Sexton is super underrated.
I like Colin Sexton.
Super underrated. And Jordan Clarkson, just consistent. I think he's really, really done awesome for them, too. So I think their team's going to be crazy in the next few years.
Has the potential to be, yes. And then, in bigger news, we talked last week about Washington trading for CP3, but then they turned around and traded him to the Warriors for Jordan Poole. I do believe there was a couple smaller players involved in that, but nobody of major miss.
Nothing.
Probably guys that'll end up getting cut.
Right. There was a few other things tacked on.
Yeah, for filler purposes, for salary probably. I know I may be in the what you might call it minority here, but I think this has the potential to be knocked out of the park for the Warriors. Simply for the fact is they cannot figure out what to do with young players. They're just ruining young players' career in San Francisco.
We've talked about that before. They struggle with the young guys.
Yeah, they can't do anything with them.
So my thought process is, you've already gotten rid of Wiseman and Poole, but you still have Moody and Kuminga.
Mm-hmm.
If Chris Paul is running your second unit, and he's not the scorer he used to be, but he's still probably the best in the NBA at just finding open guys for buckets. If he can just get Kuminga and Moody the ball in good spots and run that second unit and show them how to play good basketball, that may take the Warriors to a whole level. Because even when they were winning their championships, it wasn't necessarily that their starting unit was just going out and dominating night after night because they're a bunch of jump shooters. That just doesn't happen. But Sean Livingston and Andre Iguodala and that second unit destroyed other teams' second units.
They did.
The second unit was super underrated because all you saw on the highlights was a 40-foot jump shot.
Yeah.
Brothers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that really got lost a lot was that secondary unit. I was kind of, whenever the trade first happened, trying to figure out how the hell is that going to work? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then your first thought is Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, 1, 2, 3, Wiggins at 4, Draymond at 5. You're like, that sounds stupid.
Well, I'm sure that probably will be their version of the death lineup.
Mm-hmm. But then you dig into it and think, oh, okay. And I don't think Chris Paul's going to have an ego about, I need to start right now. He might not have an ego. He might just want that ring that he's been looking for, but
this is probably his last shot if he doesn't get it there.
So if they say, hey, you're going to run the second team, he'll probably be more than happy to,
Not only that, but to quote Ray, Steph Curry is not a point guard. So just having a great passing point guard and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson just repeatedly running off screens isn't the worst thing in the world.
No.
Yeah.
So, it could be interesting. Obviously, like the problem I could foresee is Draymond and CP3, because they're both yellers and screamers. They're both very intense guys that get in their teammates' faces and call people out for mistakes and stuff like that. Like, can both of them do it at the same time? Or, can they coexist? Or will they just be best friends and bully the whole team? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
fly to Washington.
Speaking of Washington, Jordan Poole is now in Washington with who knows what the hell Washington's doing. They also ended up with Tyus Jones in that deal.
Right.
Who has been like the best backup point guard in the league for like 3 straight years. By the way, I saw this just the other day. Tyus Jones had 51 more steals than turnovers last year.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
So yeah.
Wish you could have done that in Minnesota.
So they end up with Poole, who will probably shoot 35 times a night next year.
I was gonna say I would not be shocked if you put up Allen Iverson attempts numbers a game.
Yeah, I could see it very easily.
I don't think they'd have a problem with it either, to be honest with you.
Well, who's going to score?
Right.
You got rid of Beal, obviously, who was your leading scorer. You got rid of Porzingis, who was your next leading scorer.
They're talking about getting rid of Kuzma.
Yeah, Kuzma's a free agent, so I don't see them bringing him back.
Kid from Gonzaga. That was like their second notable player behind Jordan Poole. I was like, really?
Yeah, and they traded what's his name to you guys at the deadline, Hachimura.
Yeah.
So they got nobody to score. So it's he's going to get all the shots he can handle.
And go ahead, you're good.
No, I was going to say that.
The Porzingis trade to the Celtics, if he can stay any sort of relevant, healthy, that's just dirty to have a big man like that. Because I know he's had the injury. He can score from it, but his defense is super underrated. I think it gets forgotten about a lot.
Here's the thing with Porzingis is, well, number one, like you mentioned, is health.
Mm-hmm.
His whole career, even seasons he's put up phenomenal numbers, he gets hurt. Last year, in a contract year, he put up big numbers and stayed healthy. He's like 23-9 last year. But the big difference in Washington that wasn't in Dallas, because you guys remember in Dallas, Carlisle wanted to post him up all the time. Well, he couldn't score on me and Ray in the post. He was the worst post player in the world, even though he's like 7'3" and trying to score on guys that were like 6'5", 6'6" in the post. He couldn't do it. Well, last year, he was second in the league behind Jokic on points per touch in the post. So he kind of fixed that problem while still shooting very nice from three. And that was one of the bigger problems last year for the Celtics was Big Al, who is like, 38 years old at this point, wasn't really Big Al anymore. And, well, they have another guy in Robert Williams, Time Lord, who is also always hurt. But he can't score on anybody, no matter where he's at on the floor. So I think Porzingis, if healthy, like Buddy said, is a huge upgrade for them.
Oh, yeah.
I still think Al Horford, though, has been showing up when they ask him to.
I like Al Horford. I'm just saying you can't keep counting on Horford to be your third guy because he's just too old.
Yeah.
And now Smart's gone too with that trade.
Yeah, Smart ends up in Memphis, which I think is a great pickup for them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you get rid of Brooks and you get Smart.
Yeah, you replace Brooks' defense,
Right.
but you also have a guy that until Morant comes back from suspension can run the point.
Right.
Yeah.
More versatile, less trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once the Grizzlies everyone gets back from all their situations, you'll have Morant, Smart, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Steven Adams. I mean, it's a pretty good starting five.
Yeah.
They do. They need a wing. They need a wing. They have no decent sized wing. You can't ask Smart to go out and guard the KDs and the LeBrons and the Kawhis and those guys, the big 6'8" bulky wings. Mm-hmm. That's not Smart. Like Smart needs to guard guards and slower guys or quicker guys. Not the big strong. I mean, Smart's 6'3". I mean, they're just gonna shoot over top of them, stuff like that. They need another wing because those were the guys that Brooks did guard.
Yeah,
that was Brooks' job, even though he was a detriment on the other end of the floor essentially. But Bain is also only 6'3".
right.
It
They
doesn't
got a whole
matter
bunch of guys that size. Yeah.
So that's a good three-man wing, or not three-man wing, three-man guard rotation, I think, between Morant, Smart, and Bain. But I think you need a guy, maybe one or two guys that can come in and at least defensively match up with small forwards.
What would be a good fit in your thoughts? You're talking about Kuzma being traded from Washington, but I don't think he's that guy.
To be honest with you, who I think would be a great pickup is another Celtic, and I can't remember his name, but the stocky forward they got,
Grant Williams,
and he's a free agent.
Oh, yeah.
He shot 39% from three last year and 37% the year before that. So and Memphis is the worst 3-point shooting team in the league. So bringing the shooting, plus he's just a burly defender. That's what he does. So
it's another agitator that would fit well in that team.
So let's see. I don't know.
And Celtics may let him go too, because didn't they just draft a defense first guy?
Everything I've heard,
Walsh from Arkansas.
Everything I've heard is saying that he's priced out of the Celtics because again the Celtics don't want to deal with this new cap rule.
Right.
So Will Barton is a free agent.
Yeah, but he didn't even play last year.
Yeah. Bruce Brown, Joe Ingles, Lonnie Walker, maybe. Hamidou Diallo. A couple guys out there still.
Hachimura.
DiVincenzo but he'd just be a smaller guard too.
Yeah,
but he just said he wasn't going to sign back with the Warriors. I don't know if that was his choice or them saying.
Well, he rejected he had a player option. He rejected it.
Markieff Morris is out there, but I don't think he can.
I don't think either one of the Morrises are starter worthy anymore.
No, they've fizzled out.
T.J. Warren. Decent one. What else you got on the news there, Alex?
I feel like another team made a move, and I'm forgetting.
Trying to think of all the moves.
What about Scoot in Portland? What do you think is going to happen there?
I'll be honest with you. I'm a huge Dame fan, but I am almost sick and tired of hearing about the situation.
Yeah.
Like, you and the team need to either decide he's staying or decide you're trading him, and let's do it. Because this is like all day, every day on ESPN, on Fox, on Yahoo, everywhere. It's always talking about Dame and the Trailblazers. Dame and the Trailblazers.
So how do you fix the situation?
I think at this point you trade him. You have maybe your three best players are point guards.
Anthony Simons, Scoot,
Dame and Scoot. Yeah.
And so if, like what they say, like, we're going to build around you. How are you going to do that? What are you going to give to, like, I don't think they have any other assets other than, those three. So who can they trade to make the team better?
Nurkic.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but who's going to give up a lot to
Nothing.
Minnesota?
Nobody.
Maybe, but they'll give 8 draft picks for him.
Well, Dame in Portland just had a meeting, and Dame gave him more time.
Yeah, I know.
He said, "Well, we'll wait until free agency." And everything I was hearing today, everybody's like, nobody can fault him. He's been more than patient with Portland.
I don't think the free agent list is that appealing. Anybody that could really make your team, like, put them over the top at this point.
Yeah, there's not huge names this year in free agency. It's nothing.
Well, and like you were saying, that their 3 best players are point guards. They got to give up something to get something. Are they going to turn around and give up the kid they just drafted?
You get bang for him, I'll tell you that.
You might be able to get bang for Scoot, but who are you going to get for Scoot that makes you a contender?
Right.
Like, you could probably get picks and role players and stuff like
It's
that.
not gonna help Dame
but
right now.
it's not going to help Dame win a championship in the next couple seasons.
Right.
I agree with you. I think they should just kind of move on. And
I applaud Dame for his loyalty.
Oh,
I applaud Dame
Oh,
for
yeah.
staying in Portland. But at this
He's
point,
done everything right.
yeah, I just think, at this point it could be best for both sides. Dame could go somewhere and try and contend, and you could get a nice haul to continue this rebuild around Scoot and probably Sterling, because you probably move Simons and Nurkic too if you move Dame.
you're just going to restart.
Yeah.
Reset button. So who is the best fit for Dame, and who do you give up to get him if you're that team?
Who do I think is the best fit? Best, I don't know. The thing I think would be just whoa is Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Dame Giannis pick and roll would just be filthy.
I like the Heat too.
I don't
I like
know
him
about
with Butler and Bam.
See, I don't like the Heat fit. I know everybody on ESPN and stuff has been talking about it, but I don't think Dame fits Heat culture at all. First off, Dame doesn't play defense.
Yeah.
And, that's just going to make Jimmy mad and make Jimmy yell and scream at him.
Of course, if he scores enough points, Jimmy might excuse him.
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe they could fool me.
So if you're Milwaukee, what are you going to give for him? You have to move on from a player, right?
I mean, it's got to be a package built around Middleton at this point.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I assumed as well.
Yeah.
And is he young enough for the Trailblazers to want to rebuild around?
No, they're not going to build around Middleton. I mean,
They'll have to move him someplace else.
They would either move him or let him. It would just be an expiring for them or something. Something along those lines. It wouldn't be to. I mean, we're not gonna build around him.
Right.
He may play a season or two there to help mentor some young guys, maybe, but I don't see anything more than that. Yeah. At this point, I don't want him to go to Philadelphia because apparently Embiid is just Teflon and all criticism bounces off of him and goes to whoever he's playing with. Yeah. So I don't want the end of Dame's career is him being blamed for them failing in the playoffs.
Again, yeah.
I
I root for the guy. I hope he wins one. Goes somewhere where he's
Dame,
competitive. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, yeah. I like
Competitive
that.
at
Yes,
least,
I like Damian Lillard.
I'm trying to think of where everybody keeps talking about the Nets, which I'm not necessarily against. They're not going to be a contender with them.
He's just going to be in the same situation.
Yeah, they'll be a little bit better than Portland, but that's about it.
Might as well stay there if that's the case.
Yeah.
Well, I did read they released Victor Wembanyama's height now. They officially lifted him at 7'3.5".
I did see that. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Is that
big
with or
breaking
without
news.
shoes?
Without shoes.
Without shoes. Yeah, so
7'3".
he's 7'5" with shoes.
Breaking
Yeah.
news.
Yeah.
I said the other day he couldn't make a shot at freaking shoot around.
He shot like 29% from three in Europe. So
Yeah. Well,
Initial thoughts?
I think first off we as a society, like basketball fans in general, are overblowing what he's going to do, at least initially. I think this year he will be a nice defensive player.
I was going to say, I think he might lead the league in blocks.
Yes, he very well could because he is long as shit.
yeah.
And he can move his feet.
Yes.
Yes.
He can move.
They were showing a play the other day in Europe, but he blocked a shot at the rim and the ball bounced out to a guy standing in 3-point range, and the guy caught it and pulled up, and Victor blocked that one too. So the kid can move.
Yeah.
So I see him being a nice defensive player. I see him struggling on the boards because they're just going to move him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You've already seen that, some of those physical people over in Europe.
Yeah.
I've seen highlights of them just pushing him around.
Yeah. And I don't think he's ready offensively to be any kind of big option offensively. I could see him averaging, especially on a terrible team like San Antonio, averaging around 15 points a game, but it's not going to be like, he's out there lighting it up.
25, 30 points a game. Yeah.
Yeah, like Woj said the other day that he talked to a general manager that said in year 3 he will be the best offensive and best defensive player in the league. And I'm like,
Shohei Ohtani
right.
of basketball, yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know. He's going to have to prove that to me because I really worry about his health.
Yeah, and you saw that with Chet Holmgren the first time someone really attacked the basket on him. He just kind of crumbled, you know what I mean? So I'm curious how he's going to bounce back.
And Porzingis.
Yep.
When we just talked about him
thing.
not being able to stay healthy. He's built very similar to Wembanyama.
I guess time will tell. I'm curious to watch him play. That's for sure.
I did hear somebody say today that they thought that the Blazers should trade Lillard to the T-Wolves for Towns and let Towns play with Scoot and Sterling Sharp and Lillard play with Ant and Gobert because then it would open things back up a little bit because you don't have two of the big guys there and Portland would actually get something back they could try and build around.
Can't we ship Gobert someplace else and get T-Wolf something else?
I'll just take a second-round pick and just kind of start over. Yeah.
Well, let's throw out another. What about how do you think Dame would fit in New Orleans if they swapped he and Zion?
Oh, him and CJ back together again?
Yeah,
I think
put
that-
him back with CJ.
I think no matter where Zion goes, I think he's just kind of done.
Yeah,
That's my opinion.
I agree with
I could
you.
be wrong.
This point-
I hope I'm wrong.
At this point, if you're betting on Zion to have a great career, you're just betting on you're trying to make money at this point because you can't. There's nothing to tell you that he's going to do it.
No,
Yeah.
he just keeps.
Like he's super talented. I'm not trying to take anything away from him that
he
way.
is.
But he's just never on the floor. He doesn't seem to take it seriously.
I think a lot of
Doesn't
it's
ever
just
seem to get in shape.
effort.
Yeah, not in shape. He's now he's got his personal life all over the news. Like
Just
it's
see one of the girls that got his name tattooed on her jawline now.
Oh my God! Really?
he did.
No, one of the girls did.
Oh, one of the girls.
got his name right here on their jawline, Zion.
Oh, it doesn't say Big Mac
Oh man.
or Taco Supreme.
So is Draymond returning to the Warriors?
As long as he doesn't come to L.A.
No, gosh.
We don't need that.
I think he'll stay there.
Yeah, they'll find a way to keep him.
I think so too. I think if they wanted to move on from him, they would have done it already. I could be, like I said, completely wrong, but I think he'll be there. I think he's kind of that anchor that they need. He's the enforcer, you know what I mean? And he has kind of the very night and day difference between what the big three can bring to the table with Chris Paul and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. He brings a completely different element that they don't have, and they need that. I think they need that there. His defense and his leadership on the defense and stuff like that.
I do think bringing him back, as long as it's not going to cost him an arm and a leg, is probably the best choice at this point.
You did the last contract, you know what I mean?
No, and it can't be long term at this point. I don't think. Give him a 3-year deal.
2 or 3,
yeah.
I think they're set up for short term.
I think he only got
Clay's
2 years
done
left.
or close. Chris Paul's almost done.
Yeah.
You can't sign Draymond for very long. They're going to be in rebuild soon.
I was gonna say I think he's only got a couple years left, to be honest with you, where he's actually like somewhat productive. So
this is going to be an interesting time for the Warriors to see how loyal they are to these guys. I mean, obviously Steph's still playing at such a ridiculously high level; they're going to give him what he wants. But Draymond offensively is a shell of himself, but defensively he's still a beast. But Klay is just a shell of himself. Period.
Yeah, he's got to do something this offseason.
And he makes $40 million this year.
I was gonna say that would have been my bet for the first person to go.
Yeah.
I listened to a beat writer for the Warriors the other day talk about how Steph. They weren't talking about Klay. Klay never got brought up, but they were talking about Draymond, and they're like, Steph wants Draymond there, and he's like, I think that's why Draymond will be there is because Steph tells the team, I want him here.
Right.
So will Steph do that next year for Klay?
At some point, I think business will take over, and it'll just slowly.
But at the same time, if you're Steph, and you're gonna go to bat for these guys with the team, I think you almost have to go to them and be like, "Hey, you can't ask for $40 million."
Right.
Like,
and you got to get yourself in shape, and you've got to play.
Yeah.
Quit doing this all the time. Play some defense.
Yeah. Like I just don't see like. Obviously, if Klay comes to you and is like, I don't care what the money is, I just want to finish my career as a Warrior, you do that.
Right.
We'll give you $10 million. Fine. Cool. Kind of do what Cuban did for Dirk at the end. We'll sign you for as many years as you want as long as it's not for big money.
Yeah.
You can keep playing here until you're an old fucking man,
right.
But it just can't be for big money. Fine, if you do that. But if Klay comes back and is like, I just made $40 million this year, I got to keep making that, you're kind of like,
max contract.
See you,
please.
dude.
Yeah. Sorry.
But do you think someone will give him the money if he doesn't go there?
I can't see it personally. I'm not saying it's impossible because there's a lot of stupid teams out there, but but he has not been good for years at this point.
Those injuries could just see.
Yeah. I'm not even necessarily blaming him, but yeah, I mean he tore his ACL and the very next year tore his Achilles.
Right.
That's difficult, man.
They're both hard injuries to come back from.
A lot of people don't come back from the ACL. A lot of people don't come back from the Achilles, but to have both.
Have we ever had somebody do that? But go back to back with those two injuries?
Not that I can think
not
of.
like that.
And like, I think at a certain point, I mean, you can't go out and publicly talk about it, but at a certain point, you're just glad to be playing basketball.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, if you're Klay, you can't be like, well, I'm just glad I'm playing. Fuck if I'm good or not. Like, you can't feel that way.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, he is. Well, first off, he was a detriment to the team. And what round was it? One of the rounds, he was just flat
It was
off.
the second round against the Lakers. He did not
Yeah,
shoot
I
well.
think you're right. It was the second round
He did
against the
not
Lakers
shoot
because he
well.
was decent against the Kings in a couple games. But yeah, in the second round against the Lakers, he was just flat awful, and he shot and shot and shot, and I'm like, dude, you're like 1 for 11 tonight. You don't need to shoot 20 more times.
Once I hit, I'm gonna be on though, dude. Yeah.
Gotta hit once.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. And I realize shooters are going to shoot, all those things. But at the same time, though, there's a difference between I'm going to keep shooting and I'm going to force things. And I feel like Klay was just jacking. There wasn't like, hey, there was some action. They kicked it to me. I'm wide open. I'm going to take the shot. That's their offense. You got to take that.
Dribble, sidestep, shoot. Dribble,
Right.
sidestep.
Exactly. But there was times where he was like, three dribble, fade away, 30-footer, and you're like, what the hell was that, Klay? I wouldn't want you to shoot in that in a night where you're shooting well. More or less tonight when you can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Like that one guy in pickup, like you're just like, oh, it's like, God, stop giving him the ball.
Yeah.
But then I'll make one.
Like,
see, I can make
he'll
it.
call for it every time.
Yeah.
Call for it every time.
Give it to me, man. I'm open. No, you're not.
Yeah, but between him and Poole, just out there jacking threes every 5 seconds, they weren't going to beat a really good team. Anyway, we got off topic there. So I guess I would say, for me at least, the biggest name to be out there in free agency at this point is Fred VanVleet.
Yeah, that's how I want the Lakers to get.
You guys can't even sign your own free agents. How the hell are you going to sign the biggest free agent on the market?
I think he would be the better fit for Miami.
Yes, I think he'd be a great fit in Miami because he's a bulldog.
Yeah, he'll do it.
And he can shoot. He can handle the ball. I think he'd be great. He'd be great for Miami. I think it'll be interesting to see where VanVleet ends up.
It's funny, the NBA season just never dies. It's just one thing to the other.
Indeed. All right. Well, I think that about wraps things up NBA talk wise. So I will. We appreciate you tuning in for this Minnesota Timberwolves episode, and thank you, buddy, for being here for the T-Wolves.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
And we would appreciate if you tune in next week for the New Orleans episode. There's multiple teams involved there, but the New Orleans episode. And we appreciate your emails and comments. Please be emailing in. We really appreciate that, Ray.
Sports the NEMO Way at gmail.com.
Thank you, sir. And thanks for tuning in to Sports the NEMO Way.